Hi everyone, today I wanted to show a financial planning application I created using Taipy scenario management and Monte Carlo simulation methods. The application has three parts. In the first tab we can create assets to create a portfolio for analysis. In the second tab we can create a scenario which simulates how the portfolio will behave in the long run, and then we have a last tab where we can compare scenarios to one another. In the asset creation page we can select and edit our current assets. For example, the aggressive tech stock that I have here has a mean return of 12%. I can select 15%. And by the way, here what we assign is mean return and standard deviation, because since this is a Monte Carlo, what we're going to do is run thousands of simulations, of random simulations that follow a certain distribution. It can be a normal or a log normal distribution. Let's say that we want it to be log normal and 15% mean return. I can put 12% back and 35% standard deviation, which is kinda high. So the standard deviation represents the risk or the variability of the asset, right? And if I take corporate bonds, they have a lower average return, 4%, and also a lower risk, a lower standard deviation. I can create new assets, so let's say new asset here. I create it, and I have my new asset here with 0% mean return. I can edit it later, and I can also delete it. Let's delete it, and that's it, and now it's not here anymore. All this is saved in a JSON file because it's a very simple example. In a more realistic use case, you would probably want a database to store your assets. In the scenario creation tab, we can create a portfolio. Let's say we want 70% of index fund, aggressive tech stock, let's say we just want 10%, and corporate bonds we want, it would be 20%, right? To 70, 10, and 20 would be 100, but just for the example, let's put 30 for a second, which is 110%, so this would not be a valid distribution type. If I create this without a scenario name, it will complain. So I'm gonna call this new scenario, for example, and I'm going to assign 20% weight, 20% weight to the corporate bonds. So now I have 100% in my basket, so that's good. The number of trials is basically the number of simulations that we're going to run in one scenario. The initial capital that we invest, here is 10,000 by default. I can add a zero and say we're investing 100,000. And the horizon, I can run my scenario. I can create it and run it when I press on create scenario. Okay, so we have the new scenario that has been created and run. So in the left part we have the summary of the scenario. We can, with this scenario selector, see all the previous scenarios that we ran. So this is cool because thanks to Taipy scenario management we can save all our previous runs. And in the raw results I have all the results for each asset type and for each iteration and for each year. So iteration 1 has all the results for the 10 years, and then I have iteration 2, and this goes all the way up to iteration 1000. In the final values we have the summary statistics for all the iterations. So the mean final value, so it's for year 10, we create the mean for all the iterations. And so we have a lot of summary statistics in here, and we can also create a time series. And we can also compare scenarios to one another. In this case, I want to compare scenarios that have the same amount of initial capital, it makes more sense, and the same investment horizon, but they have a different basket, right? That's what's more interesting. So scenario 1 in this case underperforms scenario 2. So what do we have? 50% index fund, 30% aggressive tech stock, and in this one we had 70% index fund. That's weird. It's probably because I've been messing around with the values and the mean returns for each asset type. We can also put side by side all the results that we had in the previous tab, right? We can compare the time series side by side. Okay, that will be it for today. I hope you like this application. I'm going to leave the links to the GitHub repo and to the Medium article I'm going to write about how to create this application in the description of the video. Please like and subscribe, and until next time.